Today, we have a very special guest with us, and it's my honor to introduce him. He not only speaks English, Norwegian, but is also learning Japanese. Yes, I'm talking about Arve Fahlvik. He is the Director International Council of Reflexology. He is also the Chairperson of Research Committee, Norway. Arve started with Reflexology in 1997. He has been a teacher of the Carl Axel Lynn method of reflexology and full body reflexology since 2005. He has been a board member of the International Council of Reflexologists since 2017 and is responsible for the research committee and online teachers meeting. He was the vice chairman of Reflexology in Europe Nexus from 2011 to 2013. He sees himself primarily as a teacher of teachers. He is also a practitioner of martial arts like karate, kobudo, aikido, snowboarding and diving. I would now request Fahlvik to guide us.
Namaste. Today I will talk a little bit about preventive guidance, how we can help our reflexology clients to live a healthier life. In general, reflexology is viewed as a therapy that can work preventive. If you find some hard and sore spots on your client, you work on them until they disappear. We assume then that some bigger trouble has been prevented. From a scientific perspective, it's difficult to prove this effect, but the client's body have undoubtedly become more flexible and relaxed. Unfortunately, most people have uncountable number of such spots and areas. To work really preventive, we need to guide our clients to live a life that does not make their tissue transform to be hard and sore. Of course, it is impossible to completely avoid this, but every little thing that helps in the right direction will make their life easier. And as a result, you will grow a good reputation. There are lots of advices that can be given, and in general, the biggest issues are related to mental health. But today, I specifically want to talk about how shoes and walking affect health. I guess most of you are familiar with some kind of reflexology charts that outline internal organs on the sole of the feet, usually with the brain on the big toes. We must be aware that it is the body that provides us with access to the organs through the feet, but our bodies are smart. It can use the sole of the feet to outline body parts in many other ways. These other ways are not very well known in most parts of the world. Now I will show you one such chart. This chart was made by Carl Axel Lynn from Sweden. The chart outlines the inside of the head, the brain, with its lobes and glands. I have used Latin to label the different parts that are projected here, but don't worry, we will only focus on two of them today, namely the homunculus and the frontal cortex of the cerebrum. I will start by telling a bit about shoes and walking. India is probably one of the countries in the world with most use of flip-flops and slippers. When I visited India, I could see them everywhere. There are some problems with this kind of shoes. When you use them, you tense up some parts of the muscles under the foot to keep them in place. This constant tension in the muscles of the forefoot makes it become inflexible and rigid. That is not the way it should be. Of course, this is not good when we know that the body relates this area to chest and lungs. It would then be interesting to look at what it affects when we also know that this area is related to the frontal cortex of the cerebrum. The frontal lobes are involved in motor function, problem solving, spontaneity, memory, language, initiation, judgment, impulse control, and social and sexual behavior. We can assume that long-term use of flip-flops results in less good performance in these kind of activities. How much memory are you willing to offer to use facile shoes? To avoid getting this tension, there is a need for a heel strap. I will come back to this. The most used walking style is heel walking. For each step, the heel is the point of first impact, then the rest of the foot follows. There are several problems with this way of walking, but I will only focus on one of them today. The joints between the metatarsals and the bones further back in the foot are not used in their full extent, if they are used at all. I will not go into how this affects the body from the perspective of traditional foot reflexology. I guess all of you already know. From the perspective given in the outline from Lynn, we can see that the homunculus is affected by this. Homunculus is related to the sensory motor cortex of the brain. It is responsible for all your movements and all your tactile sensing. This picture visualizes this. Big areas on the drawing are very sensitive, smaller areas are not so sensitive. Everyone in India, the cradle of yoga, knows the importance of motor control. With reduced flexibility in this area of the feet, you will become less developed in the related part of the brain. Related to tactile sensing, that is where all of your erogenous zones comes to play. You just don't want to sacrifice them for anything. But that is actually what you do if you walk on your heels and use shoes that have soles that don't allow dynamic use of your joints. Bad shoes and bad walking style comes with a high price, but no one tells you. Then what should we do? The alternative to heel walking is forefoot walking. Take a look here. This is not a new style, but it has been forgotten. All animals are using it. I will not describe the details of the style here, but be aware that the little toe will be the first point of impact. If you are interested, you can find information on the net, but I also wish to recommend a book. The book is named Born to Run by Christopher McDougall. When you choose to change walking style, do it little by little. You start to use muscles that has not been used for a long time. They need time to develop. No need to rush. Now I go back to shoes again. As I mentioned before, use shoes with a heel strap or a heel cap. If you try to do forefoot walking with shoes with a built-up heel, you will get into trouble. They need to be flat. Here is an example of a good shoe. You see the heel strap, no built up heel, completely flat. The brand is Earth Runners, but this model is special for me. I have made some local changes to it. Unfortunately, these are expensive and not so easy to get. Fortunately, it is possible to make shoes that are good for forefoot walking. On YouTube, you can find instruction videos for how to make this kind of shoes. You can see the man here starting with a used car tire and ends up with some cool sandals. The name of the videos can be found on these pictures. If someone with an entrepreneurial spirit sees this, I might meet a lot of people with this kind of shoes next time I'm coming to India. When people have walked on their heels all their life, they might need some help to open the joints in the feet. You, as a reflexologist, have a job to do there. Give them a deep and good massage. I also use another technique. I call it crack the foot. Here are two examples. It is not easy to perform this technique. You need a lot of practice and guidance in the beginning. And also, the client need to get a lot of massage before you try to do that. It is not painful, but it might be surprising. You heard the sound from the joints. That is the same sound as you can get from cracking your fingers now and then. It feels like a very good relief. It's enjoyable to receive that technique. Now it's back to where we started, giving your clients advices. And here the most important point comes. Don't give advices that you don't follow yourself. I have been walking on my forefoot for 10 years now. When you start, there are no way back. And I think my erogenous zones are in good shape. Thank you for listening to this short speak. I hope that in the future I can come back to you. I wish to guide people through the foot cracking technique, talk more about forefoot walking, and, maybe the most exciting, tell you more about the other way the body outline body parts on itself, new projections. Thank you.
That was an enlightening speech. I would like to highlight the takeaways from Arve Fahlvik's speech. Prevention is better than cure. We do agree with you, sir. Thank you for throwing light on the frontal cortex of cerebellum and homunculus. I am sure everyone here understood heel walking and forefoot walking. Use shoes with heel straps or heel caps. That's an amazing therapy that we haven't been introduced to, and we really thank you for sharing the book Born to Run. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It is wonderful to know that there is a Jain Reflexology authorized center in South Africa run by me, Pretorius. Ma'am, He's an international metaphysical psychology counselor, MMSc forensic energy practitioner, Jain reflexologist and a training facilitator, Marma therapy, TMJ therapy, director of National Solve Limited Herbal Supplements. Ma'am is going to guide us about mind, body and soul. Ma'am, we look forward for your guidance.
Greetings to you all from South Africa. My name is Lynn Pretorius, and thank you for the opportunity to speak at the Advanced Jain Reflexology Conference, or the International Conference, September 2020. I've chosen for my topic the triune of health, mind, body, soul. My choice for this topic is in that one area of this triune affects the other. Every human on earth has incarnated with a soul purpose, a destiny of sorts, sort of that inkling in the back of the mind of something that one should be doing. And that is also the higher guidance with how we are on earth. And you have the mind and the body, such a connection there, where the thinking part of the human, the mind, affects the body so incredibly. So your mind, body, soul, and the connection for me using advanced reflexology. So when a client comes to see me here with a complaint or a problem, we look at, first I would look at the foot. So I would take the foot and intuitively, so my energy fields are in the client's energy field. And that interplay of energy between myself and the person, there's already a silent communication going on. And you can feel some of the perceived pain or perceived belief in the person. They've given me their details, they've explained a little bit about themselves. So we can have an example of they have complaints with the lung. Their lungs have, or they've had a diagnosis of a disorder with their lungs. And when I'm looking at the foot, looking at the shape of the foot, I can see there's a lot more going on than just lungs. And taking that with the client to feel, this client in particular that I'm talking about had sharper points on his prostate than his lungs. And I think that did him really good to feel that when I'm doing the acupressure points, and we did the lungs, he didn't really feel much of a muchness there. But when we did the prostate areas, and the sharpness that he felt made him aware there's other things going on in his body, possibly mindful or stored pain of a situation which we did get to talk about. And it was a very relevant point. And he hadn't been able to speak out how he felt towards this particular person. And his lungs had very, very much congested. After the treatment, this man was a completely lighter man. And we are looking at getting his lungs healthy, then look at the prostate, do some more treatments. So the mind, body, soul, the body is basically consisting of trillions of cells. And these cells are like a community. And the community is needing to be told what to do, what to think, etc. It's pretty much like a lot of humans. And the cells in the human, created, as I call the divine design of a human being, are dying off daily and renewing daily. There's a renewing and a dying off constantly happening. So we can ask ourselves if it's been proven that the human body rejuvenates every 7 years. Why does disease linger? Well, this is back into the mind, the perception of you have this or you have that, or it's in your family or something of such that someone has believed. And that belief creates a vibratory frequency that is telling the cells exactly what they have, hampering the healing, hampering the new cell birth of healthy cells. So the mind must be treated or one needs to be very mindful of their thinking. We can say we need to be awake in our daylight hours. So you have to really be awake. A lot of people are on like an automatic pilot, they get into a routine and their programming, their programmed being is not even giving much thought to the Monday, Friday, then I've got a weekend. So being mindful is taught in Gnostics as at the end of every day, spend some quiet time and have some self-observation to look at your day. Can you remember your day? Can you remember the movements that you made even? Just giving some time into the mindfulness of your life. Back into the soul again. So the mind, body, soul. The mind is affecting the body. The soul is the all-knowing life, the spirit that is being housed in the body. And it's probably as a energetics trying to guide us onto the path that we're here to follow. So the harmony between mind, body, soul is really in meditation and in that quiet time within self is following your true path, following a path that is true to you. So that isn't taught much on many places on earth, that we all have our own true destiny to follow, and we all attract into our being situations, circumstances, and people that can allow us to free ourselves through normally we could say our best friends are our enemies, because the enemies will rock our boats, whereas your friends are going to be smoothing you into a belief that you've been told. So maybe keeping you down a bit. So that little bit of a rocking the boat up, it's not a bad thing for a person to change some program patterning within themselves and start making some positive changes in their life. If you look at the foot, which is a fascinating tool for helping people heal, foot disorders or foot problems, the medical world will say 80% of people are going to develop foot problems in their life. Sorry about that. So 80% of people are going to develop foot problems. Those foot problems can be corns and calluses, various swellings or hard skin, and it's blamed upon ill-fitting shoes. 80% of babies in the world are not born with foot disorders. It's just your babies are born with healthy feet. So the feet really do have a lot to tell us on a psychological level of the human, the mind of the human that you're dealing with. And also the physical body health is reflected on the foot. So you may have a client who comes with a lot of hard skin around the thyroid area. And then when you're using the Jimmy stick, you're finding those points come up as blocked meridian. And then you can go and chat with your client on the soul level of living your true destiny or living true to yourself in your life. So the mind, body, soul aspect again. So the vital force, the vital energy that the body needs to flow in a nice, unimpeded manner is really experienced using acupressure and the bile or chakra magnets. So within every human is this, I could say, a seed. It's the divine seed for the tree in the human. And this seed needs to be watered or fertilized through the vital force within every human so that it can grow and blossom. And on every tree there's flowers which we could say symbolically are the chakra. So once the vital force is flowing and the flowers open, that as the chakras are flowing or oscillating at correct rate, then a person can have what they can call the Kundalini experience, or the flow of force energy from the root right through into the third eye. And that is is really helped using the method of Dr. Jain's research, by using the acupressure to find where the blockages are, being able to talk to the client about the various areas in the body, what they're experiencing in their life, their perception and beliefs that have possibly created this happening, and then being able to put the magnet on this sore point and going back and then checking with the client, and they feel there's no sharp there. They know this flow is back again. It is the natural occurrence in the human body. So where is that divine seed? I would say, if we were going to put it anywhere on a human, possibly behind the heart, so that life should be led in a loving, forgiving manner. And if the heart is closed and hardened to life and hardened to other people, in the fact that we're not talking triune as a trinity, but we're also talking a life force on earth as a unity, one human family. So when the heart can be opened and we can be forgiving others as they know not what they're doing, or forgiving others the trespasses as possibly within ourselves we have trespassed against other people. So it's a continuous cycle. But when the heart is open, we get the thinking in the mind. If a lot of people think, speak, think, speak. If we can just be a little bit slower and think, love, speak, then the frequency of that we're saying, or that is coming forth from us, is not only not going to be attracting karma from upsetting or judging or wrongly accusing others, but it is so it's such a lovely interplay with people, where it's very healing for oneself and for others to be able to share something, rather than actually getting very, very upset about something that might have made one upset because of something else. Life can be very challenging, people, especially during this time. There's a lot of challenges facing the world right now. These challenges can be in the mind of the person, constantly thinking and worrying about their life. That fear, worry, or a harried state of mind first impacts endocrine system. Endocrine system in the human body is linked into the chakra system. And that is linked onto the spinal column. So often you can find, when you're working your acupressure points, your spinal column is picked up, relating to certain endocrine system, relating to certain situations in the mind or in the life of the person, things they're experiencing. And we can bring peace that surpasses all understanding when the mind can accept the truth. Truth? Celestial being having a physical body experience, and everything in life that is attracted will be for all good and the betterment of self, and everything you're experiencing is for you in the end to have a full revelation of your selfhood as a divine being, or a son or daughter of the Grand Creator. And the most important is being mindful. So the mind affects the body and will have an impact on your sole purpose of being incarnated on earth at this time. So again, the beauty of using advanced reflexology is that the patient, when you have the patient and your hands hold the foot, your field of energy is in their field of energy. Calm state of mind is sending forth calmness. Seeing this person healing already is already sending healing energy through the hands. And then working the foot where you are intuitively feeling or picking up the vibes of what may have caused this person to be experiencing a disease in the body. And then that either comes with talking during the session or after the session. So as a metaphysical practitioner, my belief is that everything that happens in life has a higher purpose, and it is a gentle nudge by your soul just to help you guide you onto a path of why you're on earth, rather than you are on earth to get up in the morning, eat what's needed, go to work, come home, spend a bit of time with the family, go to sleep. So your years can roll by. You can calculate the years spent doing things that have just maybe watching television or such. A lot of people do this, where your time can be spent on feeding your soul as well as your mind and your body. Soul food, yoga is beautiful, meaning a union with God. It is a beautiful method when done with the intention of communicating and opening up the body systems for meditation, which is allowing that peace in the mind and the spiritual guidance within one's life. Beautiful works of Tai Chi is wonderful to be able to feel that energy from the outside coming through the inside. So we have to feed our soul as much as we have to feed our body, as much as we have to feed our mind. In Gnostics, they say that one energy area of those bodies, when overused, would take from another area. So a lot of people who are focusing on the intellect, on the mind, and neglecting the other two bodies, they can end up burning out, because the area, the three bodies, the mind, body, soul, each need equal attention. So you can, if it appeals, using this fantastic method of healing, also bring to light within a person that they are way more than a physical body. The physical body is housing them, and it is impacted by how we are thinking in our daily life, how we are interacting with other people. Law of attraction is always in action. That you are within your being thinking creates your frequency, a vibratory exchange of energy drawing back into you. You have created your life. You are the master of your life. So every action that you do has an effect, and it's learning to really be mindful in all things. So I've utilized the metaphysical understanding of life and helped a lot of people change their mind. And through changing their mind, their frequency changes. Many do experience what we call a healing crisis, where things can compound. This is felt using the Jain Reflexology, because we're opening up energy pathways that have been blocked. We cannot say how long they've been blocked for. It could have been from childhood, from perceptions, from loss, many things we take on without a realization that we're blocking ourselves, and opening up that force of energy using such a beautiful method of healing and working the feet of a person, for them to experience the blockages themselves, for them to feel. Many do. If I put a biomagnet on a lung point, the patient can feel a switch in their lungs. Many times this happens. So it's a really beautiful, gentle healing art that can assist a person in letting go of false beliefs, false perceptions, and gently start to reprogram themselves into a more spiritual life, bringing unto them all good. So we say every human has the right to have prosperity. And we look at that word prosperity and we say health, wealth, and happiness. So if we believe we are entitled to prosperity in our life, we will bring that forth. But everything in life requires the action to put in to get the reaction. So all action comes from good intention. And also the visualizations where you work within your mind and you can visualize health and prosperity in all areas, creating that vibration or that frequency within the body to put that into play, to draw unto self. I've sort of felt that the mind is like a radio transmitter. Our bodies are like radios, and many times we get out of tune. So in a radio we would go and we would tune our radio back in so we could hear the song again. So we need to tune ourselves back in again so we can hear the song of life. We can feel the joy that is our birthright to experience here on earth. The human body, in the trillions of cells that it is holding, is constantly rejuvenating. Every day cells die off, every day new cells are born. So they say within 7 years a human is renewed. So we have to be renewed, we have to renew our mind, because our mind is the most often the case that has caused the blockage in the body. So listening to the gentle nudges that our soulful self give us and living a life that is in harmony with our destiny and why we are here, not what other people, their perceptions and belief of us and they feel we should be doing, really does bring harmony. So they say dis-ease is when the body is not at ease. When you're in harmony, you're at ease, and then your body will be healthy. So thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. Thank you, Dr. Jain, for all the hard work you have put in, the research you've put in. Here in South Africa, I'm teaching your method to students, incorporating in my metaphysical mind so that the clients that they attract, they can assist on other levels. And it's really, really beautiful. We've got some beautiful healers here doing some beautiful work, using our jimmy stick and our magnets, that is just fantastic. And we are very grateful for all that you have done, bringing here to South Africa. Hoping soon this lockdown, where it has been difficult for many of us to practice, eases, and greater things we hope to all be doing in the international based advanced reflexology. Thank you.
Thank you for your very helpful tips that each and every one of us can benefit from. So let's give a warm round of applause. You have made a difference. Thank you so much.
Hello, good afternoon to everybody. My name is Eduardo Luis. I'm from Portugal, Madeira. I live in Madeira. I will talk about reflexology in the Parkinson. And before I begin to talk about reflexology on the Parkinson, I want to say some things that is very important. First, thank you very much, and I'm very happy to be present in this conference, where I can talk about my experience in reflexology, in Chinese medicine, with clients with Parkinson. Second, I want to say congratulations for your association, the Jain Association, for everything that everybody do to promote reflexology in the hands, in the face, in the feet, and all therapies. It's very important because we talk about the health and what kind of things we can help the people is what we want, is what we pretend. To give the hands is what I do now in this moment, and in this conference I see different nationalities to talk about the future and to commemorate the World Reflexology Week. About the World Reflexology Week, I want to say congratulations to ICR and for the all groups and all members that do the best to promote reflexology around the world. In this moment, I'm a president of Jain, Reflexology in Europe Nexus, and what we pretend in Europe and the world is to give the hands to talk about reflexology. It's very important for the future if everybody give the hands. Connect and support reflexologists from all over Europe and the world is what Jain pretends. Now I will begin to talk about the Parkinson. I think everybody knows what is the Parkinson and why reflexology is very important. I have here in Portugal, Madeira, some clients that have Parkinson, and I will say and everybody can see in my presentation in PowerPoint some techniques and how we can help these clients. Well, everybody knows that we are here to talk about the Parkinson. And what is the Parkinson? We listening in the conventional medicine some things, and now we can experience and say other things about the Parkinson. It's for us it's very important to explain that Parkinson is a neurodegenerative disease characterized by a chronic and progressive disorder of the central nervous system and beginnings with the death of cells responsible for producing dopamine. And here, what kind of things we can see? The first symptoms: tremors, bradykinesia, muscles stiffness, and postural instability. Here we beginning to see the way that the man will stay in the beginning, and after this you see the man like this. Understand? The back, the problems in the back pain. And they what more things they have difficulty. The clients and who have Parkinson, they have difficulties in writing, muscle pain, joint and muscle cramps, lack of appetite and intestinal disorders, urinary disorders and sexual dysfunction is very bad, and some dystonies, and of course anxiety. Over this, loss of automatic motor skills is the beginning symptoms with other symptoms that we can see the clients will have Parkinson. One thing is Parkinson, the other is Alzheimer. Don't forget, it's very different. Of course, we work here in the brain. We have in the brain a lot of things, and we can help in the feet with reflexology, with the other techniques like Suzhok, like Chinese medicine. We can help the client we have Parkinson. Well, more things that is very important to to see when the men come with you. They have disorder in speech, the way that they speech, and the loss of facial expression. Well, here is very important the facial reflexology. I have a video where I can show some techniques to help the people who have a loss of facial expression. more things is a problem with hypotension, excessive sweating, and visual deficit. Well, of course, we have more and more symptoms that we can say, of course, he have Parkinson. Well, and why? The man come with you, and perhaps some people say, why we have Parkinson? We have some cause, biochemical, environmental, or genetic, 3 causes, but we have more. Some other way and other reason can be exaggerated and continuous use of medication. Of course, is an example of substance can cause Parkinsonism. Is cinorexine, often used to relieve the dizziness and improving memory, which can block the receptor that lets the effectiveness of dopamine. Another reason. Other reason, repetitive head trauma. Of course, is important to take care of your brain. The boxers, for example, may develop the disease due to blows constantly receiving the head. Is important, and please, this problem can affect the proper brain function. Well, we have more one cause that we can see, the cerebral ischemia, when the artery that supplies blood to the brain region responsibility for producing clogs, dopamine cells stop working. Well, we have more things that we can say, and the other is about the toxic environments. Magnesium industries, batteries, for example, the telemobile, the iPhone, the telemobile. When you use the telemobile, hello, a lot of toxins. Be careful. Well, it's important to understand, and you will see in my work that I will show you, is why we have Parkinson. What's happened? Dopamine levels in the normal and the Parkinson affect neuron. We have the nervous system. Well, we have normal neuron and we see a lot of dopamine. And where we don't have dopamine, the receptors, we have beginning here the problem with we don't have dopamine, and we have here the problem to receptors. We have Parkinson. We have 4 subtypes of Parkinson. Primary or idiopathic Parkinsonism it includes true Parkinson disease. Well, I will explain again. The primary and idiopathic Parkinsonism, it includes true Parkinson's disease, the most common from among middle-aged or older. The second, the post-infection Parkinsonism, caused by the viral encephalitis. The second, Parkinsonism subtypes. The other is the Parkinsonism occur in individual people exposed to some industrial poison. Well, here you see how many subtypes of Parkinsonism we have, and some people come with you when say, I want to do reflexology, I want to do Chinese medicine, I want to do sujok, I want to do a lot of techniques that we know that can help the Parkinsonism. We are here to say, yes, come, because I have experience and I see that every people that receive reflexology after the treatment stay different. Reflexology is very important for all people. Well, in reflexology we can minimize the several complaints of we can't forget that what is reflexology? Reflexology, what's happened in when the people come with you is energy. We work energy. We have energy. We are energy. Well, if we can't help energy, the hands, the hands and the power and the good intention to provoke and to create a mechanism to revitalize in order to reach the homeostatic equilibrium in the people. But we can't forget more things. We do reflexology, of course, but it's important to talk with the client to say, please accept, and say, every day I love me. I love me. If you say every day I love me, that you love you, it will be different. Every day when I wake up, I say to me, I love me. I love. And I try to say to my clients, please say that you love you and you feel love every day. Because it's important if you come, or if you receive some client we have, where he have anxiety, we need to work the nervous system and the endocrine system. Nervous system and the endocrine system. Two can be balanced with reflexology. And we can forget nervous system, endocrine system, hypothalamus, pineal, pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid, adrenal glands, langrens, ovaries, testes. Well, we have a lot of things that we can work. If we want to use the meridians, if you want to use acupuncture, we can help together. And we can't forget that we have the points in the feet, in the hands, in the face. And every people need to receive more treatments of reflexology. Well, endocrine is produced in the hypophysis and help. What is the role of endorphins in the human body? Why the endorphins is important? Because improve the memory, improve the mood, increase resistance, increase the physical and mental disposition, improve our immune system. Is important now because the situation of COVID-19 improve our immune system. Well, where endocrine system and nervous system together, we can do a beautiful work to create homeostatic harmony in the body of the hand. Well, other thing is block injuries to blood vessels, have anti-aging effect, remove free radicals and relieve pain. Well, we can do more things because reflexology improves blood circulation, improves nerves communication, help the immune system, help the pain, relax the body, mind and spirit, treats the person as a whole. Reflexology can help and reduce the stress levels and normalize the body functions. Well, one thing that we can't forget is to do reflexology, I can work in the hands, with meridians in the hands, in the feet, in the face, and we can use a lot of things. I will talk about one client that came to me, Osvaldo, 17 years, lower back pain, chest and shoulders, pain in the ankles, insomnia, several edema, depression and tremor. What he do? When the first day I see a different feet. Oh my goodness. I say, what I see? Every place where I touch in the feet, I feel pain in the first day. And you will see in the my presentation that I will send to everybody see. Every place here, when I touch, the men say, oh, pain, the first day. The second day was different because I work the nervous cranial nerves. We have 12 nerves, important nerves to work. We can't forget if I work in nervous system, I can help endocrine system. If I can work in nervous system, I can help the immune system, create harmony in the body. Is what we want, is what we pretend. Well, the second week, 1 week later, when the man come to me, where I see more deposits, here in intestine, in the feet, in the hand, and here I don't feel nothing. And I ask, what difference you see the first week to the now? And the man say, well, was amazing. I feel better, but I think that is very important to me if I do more reflexology. Okay, of course. And another week again, the third time that he came with me, what I see, he have more deposits here, endocrine system, in intestine. Well, and I know if I work in intestine, I can work in the brain. Well, and I'm beginning to work in the brain. What kind of techniques I use? Well, I use the ideal sequence of neurology, reflexology, cranial nerves, the cervical number 1 to number 7. Of course, we can do in the hand, here, but no problem. Another thing, I work in nervus vagus. Nervus vagus, that is the number 10, that is very important to help the people who have Parkinson. Well, I stimulate the head, the neck, and the jaw reflexes on the big two. I work a lot in the hands, in the fingers, in the feet, in the hand, and I do facial reflexology. Well, I stimulate some meridians, liver number 3, and the kidney number 1, and the stomach 36. Why? To give more energy to the client. Because if the client come with you, he don't have enough energy, you need to help this client. Is what I do and every time that the people come with me. 3 points important. Liver number 3, kidney number 1, and stomach 36. Well, for in the end of the treatment, what I use metamorphic to create relation to the man, feel the harmony and the good intention. Is what I do to help this man. What I help? I reduce the back pain. I reduce the pain in the ankles and the shoulders and discomfort zones. We can help. In a group of 20 Parkinson's patients treated with reflexology techniques with me in the Portuguese Association of Parkinson in Madeira, every week after 1 month, the people say sleep improvement, reducing edema, improvement of tremors, balance improvement, improvement of urinary incontinence, that is a big problem to this kind of disease, and we help. I receive and I do a treatment to the 20 clients with Parkinson. And well, I can say and I can teach in workshops some techniques to help these clients. According to the Mark's Manual of Medical Information, affects about 1 over 2,000 severe people over 14 years old and about 1 in every 700 people over 65 years old. They receive 1 of 2 people in 1,000, more common in Europeans and North Americans than in Asian or African. According to the Parkinson Disease Foundation website, we have Americans are diagnosed with, a lot of people in America have the problem with Parkinson, and it's important to understand what we can do. According that some students, for total of 21 people interviewed used some form of supplementary therapy, including reflexology. We can see this in American Academy of Neurology. They say that some clients use reflexology. Is what I do and what I use for my clients. Is this project a beginning, and I have about the reflexology with this kind of disease. I have to the Parkinson, I have to the cancer. I have a lot of clients come with me with cancer. I have different cancer, and I have people with Parkinson. Well, I'll show you some point, and everybody can see in this presentation some points that can help the colleagues. My objective is to show to everybody that reflexology is very important to other disease, because we work with energy, we have energy, and what we pretend is help the people. And in the end, I want to say again, thank you very much. I give workshops. If anyone want to learn, please contact me via Facebook, via WhatsApp, to try to give more my experience. Of course, if you have clients, we have Parkinson, and if you have experience, please send to me and we can work together. What I pretend is together we are more strong. And I think this organization, I will say again, thank you very much. We can't forget, if we give the hands, we'll be strong. Thank you to ICR for this.
Today, we have a very special guest with us, and it's my honor to introduce him. He not only speaks English, Norwegian, but is also learning Japanese. Yes, I'm talking about Arve Fahlvik. He is the Director International Council of Reflexology. He is also the Chairperson of Research Committee, Norway. Arve started with Reflexology in 1997. He has been a teacher of the Carl Axel Lynn method of reflexology and full body reflexology since 2005. He has been a board member of the International Council of Reflexologists since 2007, Dr. Anil, and is responsible. He has put his heart and soul into reflexology and coined it into Jain reflexology, and we are proud of him. Shilpa, his wife, has been a great support for him. In this world, if there is a treatment without medicine which is effective, then I think it's reflexology and acupressure. And the improved version of this is the Jain reflexology. The inventor of Jain reflexology by Dr. Anil Jain was influenced by his uncle at the age of 16, who himself was a reflexologist. He accompanied his uncle and visited many places to bring awareness among people about reflexology. He is the president of International Reflexology Jain Association. He has organized 350 plus Jain reflexology self-treatment training workshops all over India. He has also published the book Jain Reflexology in Hindi, which was released by Honorable Rajendraji Darda, the then Education Minister. The English version of this book was released by Honorable Ghulam Nabi Azad, the then Union Health Minister. The book Jain Reflexology was released by Honorable Pretorius Chauhan, the then Chief Minister of Maharashtra. National Conference and Award Presentation Ceremony has been successfully organized for the last 5 years under his leadership. Sir, will you please guide us?
Hello friends, welcome to the All International Conference. My topic is amazing feature of Jain Reflexology, India, which is the birthplace of all cultures, which has traditions that believe in prevention is better than cure, says that food habits and lifestyle should prevent diseases from entering the body, whereas foreign culture, which encourages us to eat anything in any way and fall ill, says that they have advanced techniques to cure, to operate and medicate patients to get rid of diseases. But according to our Indian culture, we can keep ourselves healthy by the means of yoga, Ayurveda or food habits. We can keep our body healthy by means of touch therapy using organs of touch. A disease-free life is possible by color therapy involving organs of sight, eyes. Our body can be kept healthy through aromatherapy, which is by smelling with organs of smell, nose. Treatment is also possible by means of sound therapy of organs of hearing, ears. Even a single sun ray is capable of providing treatment is possible by using mud in mud therapy. A life free of diseases is possible even by means of water treatment. Furthermore, Indian culture encloses and ensures healthy living simply by good thoughts too, even without touching any part of the body. Firstly, let us talk about the lifestyle as per our Indian culture. By walking barefoot, all the reflex points under the feet got pressed and we led a disease-free life. All the household work was done with hands and there was a healthy living. Biting nails, knowingly or unknowingly, relieves us from stresses. Similarly, headaches, backaches are relieved by pressing and foot massage is done for whole body relief. There was a custom to wear different ornaments. These ornaments were used not only to enhance our beauty, but they also contain a secret called the secret of reflexology. Parts of the body where they were worn contain pressure points which continue to get pressed and a disease-free life. This is the reason why not only women but also men used to wear ornaments. This adjacent image of Lord Vishnu and Goddess Lakshmi denotes that India has been the origin of these methods. The goddess seen as pressing the Lord's feet not only denote the age-old tradition but also the deep secret of reflexology. There is another image of Lord Ram and Sita Devi depicting one of these age-old tradition which involves washing feet of elders in the house when they return from outside. The only reason for doing this was to stop negative energy from entering the house and also to remove their tiredness. Foreigners wondered that in spite of India, they conducted research on Indian lifestyle and brought forward many therapies. The reflexology is one among them. It involves applying pressure on reflex points located on hands, legs, ears and face. This technique is popular all over the world. Neither the cause nor the treatment of diseases is possible with reflexology except giving relief from stresses. Modern history of reflexology. Zone therapy. In USA, Dr. Fitzgerald considered as father of zone therapy, and from here the foundation has emerged as a national profession of reflexology. Reflexology is the practice of stimulating points on the feet, hands or ears in the hopes that it will have a beneficial effect on some other parts of the body or will improve general health. The most usual forms is foot reflexology. The foot reflexologist applies pressure to points on a person's foot. The foot is believed by participant to be divided into many reflex zones corresponding to all parts of the body. In the 1930s, unique income, a therapist further developed and refined the zone therapy into what is now known as reflexology. Reflexology around the world. In today's reflexology therapy is so popular in the world. It is being used in spa, massage, treatment, healing and many more. 27 years ago, when I was working as a reflexologist and trainer, students 20s.
वापस start कर लोगे?
It is being used in spa, massage, treatment, healing and many more. 27 years ago, when I was working as a reflexologist and trainer, a student pointed out that the position of one of the reflex point which I mentioned book. Till then I had studied various books too, but the single question of that student changed the direction of my life. I met all the senior therapists, those who were working in this field, and explained about differences among the book and insisted that we should conduct research. I found out of the exact position of reflex points situated in the feet in 2011. I developed a therapy which was dedicated by the hands of then Honorable Education Minister Rajendra Babuji Darda. Jain reflexology is gaining popularity due to its effective results. Every therapist considers his treatment as excellent but does not know the best. Which is the best therapy? To find out the best therapy, our ancient scriptures have explained us 5 health policies. The first health policies, assistance in prevention of diseases. Second, health policies, correct diagnosis of the disease. Correct diagnosis has been the most important features of Jain reflexology. There have been more than 250 methods of treatment. There is a mention about prevention of disease in the ancient method of treatment Ayurveda, in which practitioners finds out the problems in the body of patients by examining. This knowledge has become restricted now. Ayurveda and Unani therapies had great influences on the life of Hippocrates, the father of modern medicines. He said that our food is medicine and medicine itself the food, and there is no need to take any external medicine. His view was that our body has the capacity to cure itself. There have been many research activities regarding his opinion. Today, even after slaughtering lakhs of animals, dissecting thousands of dead bodies and spending millions, present medical science is falling short to cure the diseases. All the big and small hospitals, ICUs, which are crowded, that patients assure neither a conditions of disease-free life nor a complete cure, are the clear example to this. My view is not to find fault with any therapy or method of treatment, but to present the current state. Today's medical science is dependent on sign or symptoms. Any practitioner treats based on the symptoms felt, and if the sign increase, the treatment is by various tests. Signs or symptoms are seen at very later stage when our body is not able to keep itself healthy. But disease must have developed before, without the help of any machine and without asking any questions. Jain reflexology simply examines the feet and finds out whether patients have mouth ulcer or dislocation of any vertebra in the neck, disorders of digestive system or respiratory systems, hormonal imbalances or common cold are diagnosed accurately. Thank you. When I was talking about this in a seminar organized by Lions Club, the hall was filled with loud applause like this. There were 28 doctors in that seminar. When one of the doctors objected it as incorrect, I called him on the stage, examining his feet in front of all. There was pin drop silence and curiosity in the hall. Doctor was shocked to see the diagnosis report. He was a heart specialist. He said that his report had faults whereas ours was perfect. We may use any method for treatment, but diagnosis and cures are possible only through Jain reflexology. And there was loud applause in the hall. What I mean is such results are achieved daily. So far we have collected data of 40,000 people, out of which the analysis report of 20,000 people is shocking. This diagnosis report has 3 questions. The 97% of the people answered the first questions whether they were happy with the treatment. 79% of the people replied to the second questions that their problems matched with the Jain reflexologist diagnosis report. The third questions was which diseases are not diagnosed. 15% people replied that thyroid, diabetics and high blood pressure could not be diagnosed as they were under the medications. When there was no medication, 79 plus 15, 94% of the diseases were diagnosed correctly. Besides, these patients are also given treatment after diagnosis. For a change in lifestyle, they are given 21-point form to be filled after the day's routine before going to bed. To obtain quick results, micromagnets are also used. Now, we'll show.
The architect of today's meet, without his efforts and dedication, that we would not have been here on this platform of
Eyes perfect diagnosis. Now we are going to do practical session for this. All human fits are different. For this we have to do some marking lines on fit for perfect diagnosis, like chest line, spinal line and sciatica line. So let's start. I am going to show you on fit. So first, marks on fit for line. First, we collect data of patients digitally. First, we draw cervical line. For that, we mark C1 point. And marking on the metatarsal bone. Where the tarsal bone is end, this is the T1 point. After that, in ankle position, we draw marking there. First spinal line, hold the pain straight and with the help of scale, we draw the line. Marking on the metatarsal bone, this is the ending of cervical point C7, and after that we keep one point, and next point is T2 point, and from that point we draw diaphragm line. This is a diaphragm line. For sciatica line, foot in this position and from the ankle
Match to ankle
and the point match to ankle
and mark them. This
and mark them.
is the spinal ending point.
This is the spinal ending point and we draw straight line. This is the sciatica line. So, spinal line, diaphragm line and sciatica line. These lines are drawn for perfect diagnosis. Find metatarsal bone ending point
Mark.
and mark on it.
Yes. Right.
After that, draw
Point gap
inner side
T1 or T2.
T1 and T2 point and put 1 point gap.
This is the T1
This is the T1 point and at T2 point,
and starting from diaphragm line.
this is the starting point of diaphragm line. So put the scale straight and draw the line. This is the chest line or diaphragm line. And for cervical line, for spinal line,
Same procedure.
same procedure from ankle
And foot direction in 90 angle.
and foot direction in 90 degree angle
And mark this is
And-
spinal ending.
and mark on the spinal ending point. And draw inner side line,
Coccyx.
coxisacrum. After that, we
lay position of foot. Laying position. Foot position laying. And
Okay.
mark the
foot position line and with the help of scale, we must draw the line. With the help of pen,
yes.
put pen in straight position and draw the line. This is your spinal line.
And mark dark.
This is the spinal line.
And sciatica line.
And for sciatica line, the ending point of spinal, the ending point of coxy, we must draw. We put the scale straight and draw the line. Now we match the lines of both the foots.
If both
If both lines are equal at the same position, then this is correct. Let's start for diagnosis.
Yes.
Diagnosis.
Yes.
First we will start from the left foot.
if you pain tender pain.
If you have tender pain, then please
Yeah.
tell me. We must click one time on the app
less tender point.
for less pain on the tender point, then click one time, and if the pain is more, then click 2 times. For less pain, it is green, it is shown by green color, and for more pain, it is shown by red color.
Point.
We check one by one all points.
बोलते हुए करते हैं.
Okay. At that point, some pain. We press all points with equal pressure. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Access.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Less pain ऊपर.
Yes.
Bus. Third point, more pain. Diaphragm line.
Yes.
1, 2,
Full.
3. Full.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Full.
There is 230 points, and we check one by one, and now it is outer area of spinal. It is painful.
Okay. Now start spinal.
And for spinal, it is fully pain. From C1 to C7.
Okay.
1, T1, T2, 3,
No.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 8, 8 and 9, 10, 11,
Full.
12, yeah.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Full.
sacrum and coccyx. Pain?
Yes.
1, 2. Yeah, at that side.
2.
Second. More pain?
No, not more, but
Less. Okay.
More.
No. Third finger. 1. On outer side of cervical. Yeah. Outer side of cervical. Full. Now on cervical points. Yeah. All points. 1, 2, 3, T3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Full.
full 11, 12. All points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sacrum and coccyx. Now
One point check and after.
all points
One
check,
point check.
all points are checked, and after that in hand hormones points
Checking.
checking.
Now start. Hand. Not using gym.
Not use
Wooden
jimming,
stick.
not use wooden stick or any instrument, only toe of the thumb,
Toe या finger.
only from finger or thumb. 3.
Not this.
No. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Full line.
2. Second and third.
Right side one.
Right side.
And right side. Second.
Second and third.
अंगूठे के side.
1 ये वाला सेकंड एंड थर्ड
अंगूठे के side.
हाँ अंगूठे के साइड इधर से हाँ वही
हाँ. Second. Full ना.
हाँ
Okay.
एक्सप्लेन
हाँ आप स्टार्ट करो
वहाँ देख के बोलना.
ऐसे बोल दो ना.
now explain the patient of their detected problems.
Okay. Okay. इसको बंद. Okay.
Are you satisfied with the diagnosis?
Yes, very much.
Which of the diagnosis point match your problem?
I think almost 90%.
Match.
Okay.
Match and
All match. And which problems were not detected?
When on digestion,
I
it's
don't
not
know.
detected. अच्छा.
Not
anatomy
detected.
Yeah, not detected.
I think all the
No.
problems were detected.
No.
Okay. No.
बिल्कुल तो फॉर्म बना हुआ है. ठीक है. बस उनको बोलो.
After asking the questions and discussing with the patient, we submit the data, and after that,
Email the copy this. Prepare the file. The patient prepare the file. Patient
prepared काम करेगा.
prepare हो जाए.
A file is prepared like that,
हाँ. And this copy also in email. Patient's email.
okay, and this copy is also in patient's email,
हाँ.
and there is lifestyle form
And feedback form. Also.
and feedback form also. So this is the file.
And also. Okay.
I am asking you one question. When you feel sick or you have pain in your body, then you went to doctor. Then is doctor able to tell you for what problem you came?
Yeah, is he able to identify?
ओके ये वापस लेना है ओके विजिट टू डॉक्टर आपको क्या बोला
Is he able to identify your problem?
is he able to identify your problem?
Not at all. Not at all. I have to tell him the problem. Only then he just writes the tablets for me.
Then what difference between Jain reflexology therapy and other therapies?
I mean, this is an amazing thing which I had. This is done for the first time with me, and I'm really impressed that all my problems have been diagnosed very well. And I think Bhavi Shilpa has done a great job, and she has identified my problems. And I'm sure I'm going to continue this therapy. And please do try it. Please do try this. This is an excellent thing where I have not mentioned anything of my problem, and she has diagnosed all the problems. I'm so grateful and so thankful to you.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Dilip Urankar, MD, PhD, Alternative Medicine, is running a charitable trust from 2008. He is the president of the trust, and the main motto of this trust is to provide social, environmental and educational health to the poor and the needy. Sir will guide us on detoxification of mind, body and soul. Sir, we look forward for your guidance.
Namaskar. Good day to all of you. Myself, Dr. Dilip Kumar Urankar, patron member of Jain Reflexology. We are celebrating online international conference after World Reflexology Week celebration. Yesterday, we celebrate online international national conference, and today we are going to celebrating online international conference. And I like to say a few words about main convener Dr. Anil Jain ji and Mrs. Anil Jain ji. They both are giving hard work to achieve this online international conference in online international conference. Today I have to give few words on subject of detoxification of body, mind and soul. By birth, we are pure, total toxin-free body, mind and soul. Our growing age is day by day accumulating many things in our mind, in our body and soul during the growing age. We cannot elaborate or give detail of body, mind and soul detoxification in this lecture, few minute lecture, because this is a very vast and very big subject and lengthy subject and detailed scientific event, virtual explainable subject. So I will just give a few of hints and brief about mind, body and soul. Even in the body or mind, suppose we take one of them, body or mind or soul, we just elaborate little bit. Suppose I explain about mind. Mind having many type of mind with many type of people. Every people's having different mind. Every person's having different mind. Every age having different mind. As how will we say the age-wise the different mind? Because before teenage is a different mind. Before teenage, what is a different teenage? Means by birth to 12 age is a before teenage. The teenage having a different mind. And what is a teenage? Teenage means 13 year to 19 year. This is a teenage. Teenage having a different mind. After teenage, it's called the young age. It's called, you can say it's a young human being. It's a 20 year to 36 or 45 you can say. That time many things, many problems, many responsibilities and many things come in his life to change physical, mental, social, economical, educational traps, thoughts, things, worries. Due to all these things, the lot of changes, lot of hormonal changes, lot of physical, mental changes happen in this age. And teenage, now earlier teen age as very sophisticated at only the one side family, you can say unit family. But nowadays it's not unit family. Education system is far different than the earlier. If the human is developing our education system, living system like this only by the end of 2030, all human mind, human body, human soul will be totally depend on media, totally depend on equipment, totally depend on the support, mechanical, technical, logistic support. Earlier, 30 years back, we never use a calculator, all these things. We calculating like this, like thinking. But nowadays, everybody having a gadget to calculate everything. They are not using their mind. Just 30 years back, 7-digit telephone number in Bombay. I remember memorize around 100, more than 100, 7-digit number. Same body, same person, same thing. And today I check my memory index also. Memory index and memory power is same. But today I don't know. I have 6 mobile number, 10-digit number. I don't know. I can't remember it. I can't tell anyone without going and search my number to tell anyone. Why? Because in the last 30 years, day by day, I totally went on dependency of others, tools, gadgets. So we'll discuss a little bit. It's a very big subject. I can't conclude in this time. So we'll discuss about the mind. How many minds, age-wise, places-wise, timing-wise, situation-wise, the mind has been changed, and according to the mind changes, the chemical imbalances happen in the body, and that affects the organ physically. How? Suppose we just divide in the mind's classification: anger mind, averse mind, greed, measles mind, brooding mind, cheating mind, deceiving minds. company aversion to mind, company desire for mind, consolation, sympathy, sympathetic mind, craving mind, depression mind, desire or disgust for foods like fear, forgetfulness and brain fag, homesickness, indifference is fright, quarrelsomeness, suicidal, suspicious, vaping, many things of mind come in our life. So very simple. I will take some of one from the above. Homesickness. This is a very big sickness, and nobody is paying attention on this. How will we understand the homesickness? Suppose every day you are going home at 6 p.m. from office. You starting your journey by car, bus or train or any private vehicles. Normally the journey between your office and home is 30 minutes. Due to the traffic jam, you cannot reach in the time. So what will happen? Chemical changes start in your body. How? You will be not understand this very small thing. Suppose, because it is your home and there is not economical losses, so impact is very small and you neglect it. But somewhere something is happened in your mind, and mind damages your body. Your better half is waiting at home. You have to reach 6 p.m. 6:30. She is calling. Your phone is not reachable. She is having different mind problem. She is starting thinking. You also thinking. You don't have network to call her and giving explanation why you are late. 1 hour late. You enter home. You have to face many questions. You have to answer many questions. You have to explain many things. 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. Something somewhere it happen in your body also. It is long-term damages. It will be not conclude or something within a few days or few months takes to something happen in our body. Pulses will rapidly, breathlessness will come, and many things will come. Anyway, because there is no loss of economic. Suppose you have something important document and you have to reach somewhere in a time, and the very big loss for the company or yourself if you not reach in a time. If you late, if you going late, every minute your heartbeat will be more and more. Your thinking cycle will more and more. Your insecurity feel more and more. Fear will come automatically. How will we cover the damage? Because time is lapping. Every minute is important that time. And that critical situations, if already having a cardiac problem or severe respiratory problem, that time we will be in a acute syndrome. Cardiac chest pain, angina, might be breathlessness, might be something happen. So this how it is happen? Because homesickness. You are thinking, you have to always thinking to reach in time, and it is today's job, today's duty, and today's very essential and important to reach in time somewhere. But something happen in the road, an accident, and something happen, you can't reach, and when you come to know I am not where I want in time, so you will be in shock. So such shock is make a damage, lot of damage in the body. So just I am explaining how mind damage body. Might be take time, but it is a very danger. Today, toxin, detoxification of the body having a lot of toxins accumulating, many toxins, and how we understand them. Suppose, I think I have to take one subject, or even human toxins. Suppose heavy metal. If I taking a heavy metals, so heavy metals means cadmium, arsenic, mercury. These are the very danger. If they exceed the limit in our body, then what is the percentage, a minimum and maximum in per kg in our body? Just we discuss little bit. We'll take one subject, we'll discuss on this subject many more time in a future lecture, but this time I will take only one toxin, human toxin, is called the heavy metal, and what will be happen if it is exceed his the percentage in our body per kg per capita. Okay. We'll discuss about the cadmium. Cadmium limit is 0.032. 0.02. See, 0.03 to 0.2 milligram per kg is admissible in our body. This diagnostic part is different. You can check your all these things, parameters, by pathological investigation. Second is arsenic. Arsenic is a poison and heavy metal. So his limit is 0.1 to 0.7 milligram per kilogram. Third is mercury. Mercury having 0.01 to 0.05 milligram per kg. And this is a heavy metal, then heavy metal cannot go in our body like this only. If I touch to mercury or arsenic like this, cannot enter easily. But how it is going in our body? You know? Plant soil. Through plant, from soil, it goes to stem, leaves, and through plants in our body. Hexavalent chromium enter from mouth, respiratory tract, or skin, and causes bronchial asthma, skin erosion, and allergy, dermatile problems. So we have to eliminate from our body. This is called detoxification. Detoxification process, you can eliminate or avoid such a things which foods having maximum these heavy metals, because we need also, because this all cadmium, arsenic, mercury, so need heavy metals, many you can say elements, macronutrient, micronutrients, is what body need. But if we exceed the limit, we have to face a physical problem. Is a toxin, deposit toxin. Same thing, I will take some, this is now example taken for the body. Now I will take mind problems, mind, how its mind is toxic. So before that, what was the effect? What was the effect of our body if we exceed this parameter? Arsenic is a poison, all knows. Even mercury also poison, cadmium also poison, and it is a heavy metal also. So the respective abnormalities happen in the body. I can't give a time for this, so I will take other, just mind toxification. Mind toxification is a, suppose we are thinking good to help other or something nice, light subject, cheerful subject, and which subject is cannot be trouble you. If you think, if you talk about that, so mind cannot accumulate bad things. But when you starting thinking bad, greediness, cheating to others, and something disturbing others purposely, so the mind toxins going accumulate. Thought is, good thought is a detoxification of your mind, and bad thought is a accumulation of mind. It's a simple formula. Many people are talking on mind detoxification and even soul detoxification.
Thank you for very helpful tips that each and every one of us can benefit from. So let's give a warm round of applause. You have made a difference. Thank you so much.
Online conference, and I just want to say a big hello to all of you out there in the world that are watching this right at this moment. What I've decided to do is a short presentation on reflexology and its assistance in helping with anxiety issues, and certainly in the COVID world we live in at the moment. So I'd like to do an accompanying PowerPoint presentation to go with this, and talk you through it, and we've got some reflex work we can do with it as well. Okay, so let's share the screen. There it is. Okay, so let's get ourselves underway. So, title for the piece is called Reflexology to Assist Anxiety Issues in a COVID World. And we've certainly got enough anxiety in the world right at this moment. I'm sure all of us as reflexologists would have plenty of work to do just helping people on this issue alone. So let's get straight in and have a look at some of the issues. So when we're working with anxiety, what we're looking to help is obviously the ebb and flow that exists in the breathing mechanism, and to focus our attention on the lungs, the lung energy, and the ancillary organs that are associated with the lungs. So it's this area that I want to address during this short presentation. So my advice is obviously to work on the lung reflexes and also the respiratory apparatus, but also to think outside the box as well, and to think about possibly the nerve supply, the muscular system, the endocrine system, and the lymphatic system that's associated with it as well. Now, we all know anxiety can run at any point throughout the body. It can exist pretty much anywhere. They can feel it in their neck, their jaw, their chest, or in their stomach. There's no specific area. And wherever the brain sends nerve signals is pretty much where that discomfort and that emotional feeling will end up. So work the appropriate direct reflexes for where there might be a physical symptom. Could be the neck or the jaw, like I say, or even the stomach. An important point to remember as well is that the skin, which is considered to be the third lung, may be an indicator of a deeper level of stress and anxiety. So although we don't have reflexes specifically for the skin, if there are symptoms that come out, if there are signs that come out from the skin, like an eruption or a rash, it may be an indicator that there is a problem within the respiratory apparatus that's underneath. One key physical area to consider then is the diaphragm and the associated nervous system with the diaphragm. And that would be the phrenic and the vagus nerves. They are involved in actually the functioning of the diaphragm, and they work together in perfect synergy. So the innervation of the diaphragm itself, as it says here, is made by the phrenic nerve, and it's believed to be directly responsible for the emotional state of the patient as well. So further evidence reinforces this in that the phrenic nerve forms ganglia underneath the diaphragm, so at the base of the diaphragm, and is connected to the neural pathways of the adrenal gland. So obviously when the adrenal becomes agitated, there is a knock-on effect for the diaphragm as well. The diaphragm will receive messages from above and from below, from the phrenic nerve and from the adrenals as well. So physiologically, when we look at the role of the breath and the emotions, there's a complex interaction, a complex relationship between these two areas, certainly between the limbic system and the diaphragmatic area as well. The amygdala and the medulla oblongata are implicated here, as they're known as the respiratory centers for the respiratory system and the emotional core of the brain as well. So all these pointers that I'm giving you are starting to give you ideas of where possibly you could look apart from the lungs and apart from the diaphragm. Another area that you could possibly look at as well, another area for evaluation, is the heart and its role and its implication with blood pressure. There's a close relationship between the emotions, obviously, the breath, and the intervention of what are called baroreceptors. Now, baroreceptors are these special receptors that detect changes in your blood pressure. So they're very sensitive to the pressure within the vessels. And the most important ones are found in the aorta and the carotid. And if the blood pressure rises within these vessels, so if you get a panic attack or anxieties, the walls of these arteries will stretch and stimulate and increase activity to try and restore balance. Now, as I mentioned just a few moments ago, the phrenic nerves are the only nerves that directly control the diaphragm. And therefore, they've got a critical role in breathing. And as a result, they will help with the regulation of anxiety, since breath is one of the contributing factors, or the lack of breath is one of the contributory factors in anxiety or panic attacks. But also, the phrenic nerves have a sensory function as well as a motor function for the diaphragm. They're responsible for referred pain to the shoulder that can accompany abdominal disorders. So it's worth thinking about if you have people come into your clinic rooms who have abdominal disorders or problems, then you might be able to trace it back to the anxiety and the diaphragm stress related to it. So think about going backwards rather than just concentrating on where the problem might actually be. So if there are neck problems as well in your patient, think about the cervical vertebra. There'll be a knock-on effect there, because C3 to C5, as we're going to see shortly, are heavily implicated in anything to do with the phrenic nerve. So this is where the innovation comes from for the phrenic nerve. Phrenic nerve is C3 to C5, and obviously susceptible to injury because of where it's located. It's quite vulnerable. And these nerves travel down the neck along the scalene muscle and insert into the diaphragm left and right to control this contraction and inspiration. But they may actually, like I say, be quite vulnerable as a result of it. And damage to the nerves can lead to trauma or infection or neuromuscular diseases as well, since it will have a knock-on effect, a direct knock-on effect for the diaphragm. So as you'll see from this diagram here, I'm just going to highlight it with a pen, you've got the right phrenic nerve that runs parallel to the pericardium on the right, and the left phrenic nerve that runs parallel to the pericardium on the left-hand side. And they insert into the diaphragm at around zones 2 and 3 on either side. So there's an implication there for when we come to look at the foot in the moment. On both feet, you'll be able to work out where the phrenic nerve reflexes are. Excuse me, there's also an overlap in the work of the 10th cranial nerve, the vagus nerve. As I said, that's the other nerve that's heavily involved in diaphragmatic work, and obviously as a result in helping to deal with anxiety. So the vagus nerve can get overstimulated when someone's extremely anxious. So what it's trying to do obviously is bring about the parasympathetic flow. And as a result, as it tries to bring down heart rate and blood pressure, it can come under increasing strain. So when we work with the vagus nerve, we're strengthening that reflex to strengthen the nerve itself and to give it a stronger ability to be able to cope with anxiety and stress. Deep diaphragmatic breathing has always been believed, and I'm sure that I'm speaking to people who totally understand this at the moment, where you are, that breathing is recognised to significantly reduce pain. The London Pain Clinic has acknowledged that, has recognised that, and the idea that when we take in breath, that we use the diaphragm correctly, that we're allowing the diaphragm to contract and to expand and to use the muscle correctly is really important here, because if we're not correctly breathing, then it can obviously bring about anxiety, stress, depression. It lowers oxygen levels in the blood because you're not allowing that inspiration to do its work. And obviously that then means that oxygen levels within the body being lower will have a direct effect on the brain as well. So, something that I've done in my courses. I run regular courses throughout the world, mainly online, obviously, at the moment, because of the situation, what we're doing at the moment. But they link between the solar plexus in particular and the psoas muscle. Now, the psoas muscle is a very underrated muscle, in my opinion. Certainly in the West, it's not highlighted enough as a key indicator for improving health. So let's have a look at the solar plexus first. Solar plexus obviously is a ganglion of nerves, a network of nerves that come to a point within the central part of the body, and at times of stress they produce the fight or flight response as well. So they're linked in strongly with the adrenal glands again, as I mentioned. But therapists have also used, certainly in the West, they've used solar plexus breathing techniques for a long time now to help combat and reduce stress and anxiety. So the psoas muscle is, I've left some details there if you're playing this back to have a look at. The psoas muscle is reflected by tracking the line of the adductor hallucis on the top of the foot. Okay, on the medial edge from the talus down to the medial cuneiform and the first metatarsal. If you need any more information, by the way, about reflexes, I'm going to give you some addresses at the end, and you'll be able to obviously contact me directly, and I can give you some more details. Okay, so let's have a look at the psoas muscle then. The psoas and the diaphragm are really important because they are connected through the insertions. Mainly, let's get the pen again and I can show you, mainly through this area here, okay, this area here. So the psoas major, this large muscle here, is attached, is at the bottom of the thoracic spine, so T12 in the diaphragm, and then runs along the lumbar spine and then through the pelvic bowl, down the front of the hip joint, and attaches at the top of the femur and just around the lesser trochanter area there. It's the only muscle that connects the leg and the spine. So when you straighten your spine and you breathe in, you're flexing the combination between your diaphragm and your psoas. Obviously, in situations where you're extremely stressed, you've got a lot of anxiety, then what essentially is going to happen is you're not going to be using the diaphragm and psoas correctly. Okay, so again, it's all about the combination of one thing against another. If you're using them correctly, then that will enhance breathing and that will reduce stress. So it's important to remember something that I know from a long time ago: nothing exists in isolation. When one part of the body is under stress, it has a knock-on effect somewhere else in the body. We always know this from the reflex work we do. You know, in terms of cross reflexes or correspondences, as I call them. There's a sacred geometry to the anatomy with paired areas that work in combination, so that when one is out, the other one eventually will be out as well. But the good thing about that combination is that if you work one, it has a restorative effect on the other as well. So I suggest you try the direct reflexes, give them a try. And so I've got a few other combinations as well. I'm just going to talk through this in the last section that I'm going to present to you today. So let's bring myself down here just for a moment. There we go. So have a look at the phrenic nerve reflexes and you'll see that their endpoints, like I say, are in zones 2 and 3. Okay, right there and right there. On the diaphragm line. This is traditionally where therapists would have considered putting the solar plexus. But what I've been suggesting for many years now is that the solar plexus actually exists on the medial edge at diaphragm level. Because if you think about it, the diaphragm is in two halves. The solar plexus is in two halves. So half of it will be on the left-hand side, half of it will be on the right-hand side. If we had it where traditionally there was a gap of 4 zones between it, that would suggest that we've got 2 solar plexus, which doesn't really make sense at all. So we've got half on the right and half on the left. Okay, so these areas here, and I've just seen an obvious mistake, that should say left there. Half on the left, half on the right. Okay, so that's the solar plexus. But let's have a look where I'm suggesting the solar plexus is and therefore where the phrenic nerve is, because there's involvement with the two. So traditionally we may have put solar plexus here. What I'm now suggesting, obviously, is this is where the phrenic nerve inserts into the diaphragm. So when we're doing our solar plexus breathing, we're actually activating the phrenic nerve at that diaphragm level. And this is where I'm placing solar plexus. Right on that medial edge. Just underneath the ball of the foot, but on the medial edge, so you capture one half left and one half right. So give that a try. Just change your intention. If you change your intention, what you're essentially saying is, I'm now working the phrenic nerve reflex rather than the solar plexus. And that can be quite significant. Okay, let's have a look at the vagus nerve as well. Okay, so we've got 12 12 cranial nerves. They're all paired up across the body, and the vagus nerve being number 10. Luckily, we can locate it on the 5th toe, right at the top there. So it's right at the tip of the 5th toe. Okay, so it's on that lateral edge, 5th toe, right at the top. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And being number 10, there it is. Okay, so you can apply firm pressure to the center of the plantar aspects of the toes at these knuckles. So that's where they're all located, on the knuckles, the articulations, the phalangeal articulations. And as I said, after years, I've been doing this for over 25 years now, a strong sensation may be noted immediately. Okay, so let's bring me back up just to highlight this part. So a word of advice when working on nerve reflexes. So if you're working on the vagus or on the phrenic nerve, just visualize how delicate these nerves are. When I talked about the vulnerability, where they come down out of the neck and down into the trunk area. So adjust your intention to a much more gentle treatment with a lighter touch to it. Okay. So questions I get asked all the time when we're talking about reflex work is, what kind of pressure should I use? Well, if you think about intention, what it's doing is it's allowing you to visualize what it is you're working with. So if you're working a reflex area that normally involves stretching, like the diaphragm or the psoas, then why not consider a kneading movement across the reflex to open that area up? Okay, so again, like I say, if you need more information about it, you can always contact me direct. But you know where the diaphragm is. I've given you some clues about where the psoas muscle reflexes are as well. So just try that. Try kneading, a sort of stretching movement that allows that expansion within the muscle itself. Treat the lung as a muscle as well. So with your thumbs in an upward direction towards the trachea on the medial edge, bring those, or the whole of the ball of the foot, basically, you're going to be working all the way up into the lung area. And notice that while you're doing that, on the top, your fingers are on the top of the foot, applying work to the appropriate lymphatic reflexes as well. So a checklist of reflexes just to finish up with. Lungs, lymphatic area, the phrenic nerve, the diaphragm, the diagram that you've already seen there, the vagus nerve, which is on the top of each little toe, the 10th cranial nerve. The limbic system, again, the center of the pad of the big toe, because you're in zone 3, you're getting right into the core of the brain at that point. My suggestion for the solar plexus, then cervical spine, for the simple reason that with the phrenic nerve, its origins start within C3 through C5. If there's problems within the phrenic nerve, the diaphragm will not be working effectively, which means the person will not be diaphragmatically breathing, and that obviously will affect their stress levels. So you can work T12 to L4, which are the spinal junctions of the diaphragm and the psoas, where they interact. The psoas, you've seen the description there. I've given you some clues about that. Shoulder girdle, the simple reason that the shoulders and the hips, the diaphragm, they're all related. Okay, so shoulder, diaphragm, and girdle, they're all pelvic girdle, they're all related. So if one's out, the other's out. By allowing better movement within these areas, you're going to improve the whole diaphragmatic flow. The adrenal glands, as I say, because there will be involvement there underneath the diaphragm. There is a nervous connection there that allows the adrenals to register fight or flight. And there we have it. As short as it's been, my journey started in India in 1995. For those of you who get a chance to read my biography that I've sent across, I was sitting on the banks of the Ganges, just minding my own business, and here I am 25 years later talking to all you lovely people. So more information if you need it, visit my website. There it is, www.effectivereflexology.com, and my email address, I'm sure people will want to email me. Taylor's Escape, make sure you put the S in there as well, taylorsescape@hotmail.co.uk. My books are available through my website or my email address, and yeah, I look forward to coming over India at the earliest opportunity. It's always been my desire to come back to the country that inspired me to start my reflexology journey in the first place. So have a wonderful conference, everybody, and I look forward to the opportunity, like I say, to seeing you all soon. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day, wonderful time, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and I'll see you again. Thank you very much.
Now, I would like to thank our Venerable Mr. Rajendra Babuji Darda, who helped us to make this event successful, and his guidance has always been with us. With all, I would like to thank Lokmat Media Partner for their wonderful contribution of making it reach to folks, and they laid the foundation to make it successful. Now, I would like to thank our members of advisory committee and speakers, Dr. P.B. Lohia ji, Professor Sir Dr. P.B. Lohia, President Indian Institute of Holistic Medicines, Aurangabad, Dr. Cyril Antony, Director International Council of Reflexology, Sri Lanka, Mr. Arve Fahlvik, Director International Council of Reflexology, Norway, Dr. Eduardo, President of Research Committee Reflexology in Europe, Professor Dr. K. Satyalakshmi, Director of National Institute of Naturopathy, Pune, Jain Reflexologist Anil Jain, Jain Reflexologist Lynn, Pretorius, Carol Foggy, President of International Council of Reflexologists, Lee Taylor, Principal, the Academy of Effective Reflexology, Dilip Urankar, Executive Committee Member of World Reflexology Week. Now, I would like to thank who make people connected by their anchoring till the end of the event, Shivani ji Boonlia and Manjuji Thole. So, at the end, I request you to stand up for National Anthem. Now, I would like to thank to all World Reflexology Week members who has always been with us.
अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उच्चल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाए तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगल भारत जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे भारत माता की जय भारत माता की जय भारत माता की जय थैंक यू
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।